Welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV, the live TV show all about the legal aspects of your business to help educate you on complex legal terms in an easy to understand manner, to help understand why you need to do certain things in your business from a legal point of view, and to help you develop a plan for the future. Our mission at Business Legal Lifecycle is to help empower all small to medium-sized businesses around the world to get access to legal advice so that they can help build their communities and make the world a better place. Did you know that any business owner is on average 7 months away from losing everything? That is the average time it takes from a successful business to fold when an aspect of their business is not set up correctly. Have you ever wanted to get legal advice but didn't understand what was going on? Do you feel like there is a divide between lawyers and their clients? Then this TV show is for you. It is all about empowering you and your business with the knowledge and tools to ensure that this doesn't happen to you. Business Legal Lifecycle TV delivers a twice-weekly show focusing on the legal aspects of your business. At lunchtime on Mondays, we present Fast Fix Monday, a quick 5 to 10 minute show that will give you some actionable steps to consider for the week for your business. And at lunchtime on Wednesdays, we present our in-depth show of between 30 minutes and an hour, where we go through complicated legal aspects of your business in a simple to understand, plain English manner. And whether that is through educational pieces or interviews with experts in their fields.
Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV. Today is Monday, so it's Fast Fix Monday here at Business Legal Lifecycle TV, where we go through a couple of quick points about it. Today we're talking about license agreements. So I'm here, Craig Mason, and I have with me Jeremy Stratton. Say hello to everyone, please. Jeremy.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having an awesome day.
Excellent. So today, as I said, we're just going to go through 3 common mistakes, and today we're talking about license agreements. So Jeremy, if you want to kick off with the first common mistake that we see in regards to license agreements.
Thanks, Craig. So a license agreement, and if you've watched the education and training shows, you'll know that the big problem with license agreements is the difference between a license agreement and a franchise agreement. So the first common mistake is using a license agreement where it really is a franchise agreement. So in Australia and in other countries around the world, what is a franchise agreement is defined by legislation. And in Australia, a franchise agreement is an agreement basically where you give someone the right to use your logo or your systems. You heavily regulate how they promote that system and how you heavily control how they actually run their business. That's in a very plain English kind of way, but that's what a franchise agreement is. So a lot of people try to use a license agreement to get around the requirements of a franchise agreement, because a franchise agreement sets up a very large and lengthy lot of compliance that you have to do. There's disclosure statements, all those kind of things that people want to avoid, and they cost a lot of money because there's a lot that lawyers need to do and there's a lot of work that goes into the manual. So the first common mistake with a license agreement, so this is a license of intellectual property, is basically where a franchise, it's really a franchise, and you try to have a lot of control over that licensee when you license the intellectual property. Craig, do you want to do number 2?
Yeah, absolutely. So number 2 is be clear on royalties and guaranteed payments. Make sure you're calculating that on the correct figure. So when you're doing a license agreement with anything, you need to be clear as to how things are going to work. As Jeremy said, it's not a franchise agreement, and there's not much or shouldn't be control on those sorts of things. So you've got to make sure that it's all documented in the license agreement. So making sure that in this particular example, it's calculated on gross profit rather than on net profit or whatever it might be in terms of the royalties and guaranteed payments. So make sure you double check that. Number 3, Jeremy, and the last common mistake we have for today.
So the last one really ties into the first one, and that's the lack of quality control and compliance. So where you have a license agreement, as I said before, as opposed to a franchise, you have very little control over the quality and making sure that the person who's using your intellectual property can actually comply with the real laws and your requirements. So you lose a lot of control. So when you just try to do a license of intellectual property and that doesn't have a lot of control, then that's a really big mistake that we see people making with their license agreements. You really want to have a think about making sure that if you want control over what's been licensed and the brand, that you actually properly set that out and probably do a franchise agreement in Australia. In other countries, it's different. You can get away with a lot more that don't have franchising codes of conduct. But in Australia, you've got to be really clear that if you're going to have any sort of control, that it is a franchise and not a license in all likelihood. So, Craig, that's it for today. Do you want to finish off?
Absolutely. All right. So that's our 3 common mistakes when it comes to a license agreement. It's a pretty technical area. Make sure you're getting the advice before you embark on that process. That's it for us for Fast 6 Monday. We'll be back again on Wednesday for our longer form show. Hopefully you can join us then. If you've got any questions or want to follow us to be involved in the show, please go to the Facebook page or to the website or any other platform you might be viewing or listening to the show. So as I said, we're back on Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you then.
See you then.